What's good with you, family? This is your boy Big Rob coming at you live and direct from the Kulture Studio. Welcome to the Kulture Channel, another episode. Hope everybody is well, and I hope everybody is safe. I want to give a special shout out to all of the Kulture Wear family out there, all of the Kulture Wear supporters, all of the Kulture Wear subscribers. I want to give a special shout out to you. Thank you for everything that you guys has done, and thank you for everything that you do. Appreciate the love. You've been showing mad love to the brand, so we ain't got nothing but love for you. I got my man Big T in the building. What up, T? What's going on?
Man, what's going on, my man? How you doing, Big Rob?
All right. It's always good to have my man T in the building.
Yeah,
So, yo, I
blessed
wanna also go ahead and throw out there as well. Don't forget, www.kulturewears.com, www.kulturewears.com. Hit that type right button that says log in, drop your information. And that way you'll be, informed of all the new latest wear, all the new latest gear as they come out on the site. I'm wearing the still fighting to this day T.
I love that shirt. That's nice.
No doubt. Still fighting to this day.
Yeah, that's that statement, man. That's that statement.
Yeah, no doubt. Because we definitely still fighting to this day, especially with everything going on. We still fighting, even from the time back in the days, when it all first started. We still, in the same place, still fighting. So, www.kulturewears.com. Go ahead, cop your tees, still fighting to this day. Also, cop your other tees. Look on the site. We're going to be dropping some ill stuff, some ill bombs, this quarter. So, look for it. Be on the lookout for it. And also, do not forget, we're going to be at the Agenda 2021 show. This will be in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Caesars Palace. February 17th to the 18th. That's February 17th through the 18th. We're going to be at the Caesars Palace. And a lot of y'all don't know, you probably know already because we always repeat this. You know what I mean? The Agenda 2021 show is a forum. It's an outlet for all the latest, all the new greatest, all the new illest, all the new vintage, current brands, old school brands will be all in one building. So look for Kulture Wears. We'll be on the set. My man T will be representing. The Kulture Wear family is going to be in the building. So look for us there. And, it's just going to be insane. It's going to be a lot of energy because I can feel the energy now. So, it'll just be insane. And for y'all that don't know what for y'all that don't know what the Agenda 2021 show is basically we're all, pretty much all of the brands is all on one set. You'll also have a lot of the retailers, a lot of the e-commerce sites and brands that'll be on site looking at, some additional wares to put on their site. So look for us there, Agenda 2021. That's February 17th to the 18th at the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. So, we look for you there. All right. So, we got a lot of topics that we want to cover today. It's been an extraordinary start of the new year. It's just been insane. I mean, the energy is insane, but there's a lot of negative energy as well, as we can see if you've been catching it, if you've been following, this whole Trump protest. But before we get into it, I want to talk about some topics that we want to go into is the Trump protests. We're going to cover this whole thing with Trump, the rallies, the insane, craziness with the insurgents. We'll be talking about the whole Curtis Blow thing, with my man going into the hospital for a heart transplant and coming out as a success. We're going to talk about the whole Dr. Dre thing, being in the hospital. My man is still in ICU. We also want to cover, this break-in too as well, with Dr. Dre. My man is in the hospital and he has to deal not only with the whole divorce thing, but also people, breaking into his house. Also the P-Diddy deal with somebody breaking into his ex-girlfriend's house, obviously that was murdered, a few years back or a year back, the house has been vacant and there was a break-in, with that mansion. So there's a lot of topics that we want to cover, family. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. T, let's talk about this Trump thing, man. I know we don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but we got to talk about it, man, because it's insane. I know a lot of, I'll say our civil rights leaders like Tamika Mallory, been on the set basically saying it's not our fight. True indeed, it's not our fight. But when you got cats that's coming together and being able to penetrate through a building that's almost impossible to break into, right? And we can get into that. You know what I mean? It's almost impossible to get into the state capitol, and it's weird to find out how these guys got in. Not only that, but they caused a ruckus when they entered in, being directed by a lot of the police officers that directed into certain places throughout that building, directions on how to get to certain senators, you know what I mean, offices, you know, and taking selfies. It's just ill, man. What is your thoughts on that, man?
It sounded like it was orchestrated. Sound like it was orchestrated, you ask me, but I really don't. My thoughts on it really is so it goes to a way of who's allowed to do what, and everybody understands that, um, that people get treated differently. So with that being
Right.
said, that's the only way, and I'm trying to justify, not even justify, I'm actually just trying to, explain how the break-in or the insurgent, how they want to say, happened, is because they allow one set of group of people, which our white brothers and sisters will have a little bit more freedom. And
No doubt.
a lot of comedians already joked about this and stated about, like, and as I said, my white brothers and sisters feel like sometimes they are entitled, like, and they go through there. This is our stuff. This is ours. They have that ownership mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, while a lot of us, black folks my people are more what I call defensive minded. We go through world always with defense, and they play offense. They pretty
Right.
much can make all the move they want. So they were able to get in only because of the simple fact is that one, I believe was orchestrated for a little ruckus to shake up some things. Because here it is, that's also been confirmed and talked about how Trump made a couple phone calls why the people were doing the, storming the building, trying to get some of the senators to change their vote or, go against the election. So
Right.
to me, I mean, either he's a great opportunist or something that's orchestrated. Um,
No
what
doubt.
but what and I will give you a different twist on this, and I want you to jump in, but here's the true understanding of it. We got to understand the true thing about what is called the Constitution. Now, us having rights under the Constitution, it's that's cloudy. We really don't know if black people really have true rights under the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
But as we go into the real point who do have the Constitution, remember what the Constitution is only there for. The Constitution is only there for one reason, and that's for you to go against the government. That's the only thing legally you have to go against the government is the Constitution. That means the
Right.
first right is the right to freedom of speech. So you can talk all the shit you want to talk, excuse my language, but you can talk all
Mm-hmm.
the mess you want to talk. And your second is the right to bear arms. So you can talk crap to the government and have your guns there to back it up. So before the world got as big as it was, or America got as big as it was, and we have it, it was back in like the early seven when the Constitution 1776 up to like somewhere in the 1800s, you were able to go to the White House and demand change.
Right.
So that's what that was pretty much. You got to look at as a sport. Now that the times are changed, there are some more things about it. Now, do I agree that they should have walked up to the White House and tried to take control of the Capitol and all that? No. But I understand the ability of your Constitution and what it does allow you to do. It gives you the right to do. It's not written for me to go against my fellow man. It's written for you to fight against the government. That's pretty much what the Constitution is for. It gives you the right to
Right.
talk the noise you want to noise, to be like you would like a king and queen. You say something wrong to a king or queen, that's off with your head.
No doubt. Yeah.
So in this age, that was give you the freedom to talk that smack, and two, the right to bear arms. So you and your whole goon, the posse, could go up there to the White House and demand change, and change will come about. Now, like I said, those topics change. So I believe, and that's one thing I understand. I'm understanding that I know that our white brothers and sisters understand that that is their freedom. That's the only thing they have to say that you can't do. You can't walk into my house without having to warn. There's some freedoms to go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch what it is, it's slowly being picked at. their freedoms are being taken away from them slowly but surely. So again, that's just kind of my take of understanding why the Constitution works for certain people, and they were allowed to do what they did to go up in there. Now there's repercussions because some people going there talking about that you trying to do a revolution. Well, if you're doing a real revolution, it's really, they said it's going to be televised, but this was more orchestrated. Even if you kind of watch out, some of the security guards were leading the people to the certain locations and whatnot. You know, they didn't just run amok. You know,
It was organized.
it was organized. You know what I'm
No
saying? They were
doubt.
rowdy,
Right.
scareful, but if it had been us up in that bad boy, we'd have been in every office, every room, everybody. We'd have felt where everybody hiding at.
Right.
It'd have been different. So
No doubt.
I truly understand the fact of it. To me, I think it was more orchestrated to try to make a last hurrah to try to for Trump to get his seize his power that way, to advance some of his agenda. Because again, I think he's trying to stir the election. He can't do anything else but do that. So I think he's trying to do everything. That was like the last, to me, the last hurrah. Now that got you. We're trying to impeach you. So
No
my
doubt.
take on it. I wonder how you think on it.
Yeah, I want to play something. I want to play this videotape. You know what I mean? Let's play this videotape. That I like to share, and you let me know what your thoughts are. But obviously, the videotape is going to show what happened outside of the U.S. Capitol and how the outside crowd was able to penetrate, through the barriers, the police barriers, get through that, get up to the the Capitol steps. Some even got onto these scaffoldings where, obviously there's a person that lost their life, on the scaffolding, but they penetrated through the barriers, the gates, went up the stairs, penetrated through the police officers that was there, when it made their way inside and started breaking the glass. Then made their way inside, obviously unruly. They didn't care and they walked in. I'm going to show this videotape. Take a look at this videotape and tell me what your thoughts are.
Soon after, the mob was rampaging through the halls of the Capitol. From what we saw on Wednesday, the MAGA anger is at a new level. And with Trump now banned from Twitter and plans already circulating for future marches on the Capitol, that day of unprecedented violence may not be the end of this unrest.
In the video, you see them penetrate through, you see them get through, you see guys breaking the windows, you know what I'm saying? You see some of them with cops, you know what I mean, that obviously taking selfies and things like that. Some of these cops wasn't having it. So here's what I need to talk about. Trump has 74 million people who are behind him. That's 74 million Trump supporters out there, right? Not at the state, at the council building, but following. You know what I mean? 74 million people. If you think about it, and I'm not saying they all armed. 74 million people are not all armed, but you got to think about a percentage of those people that are armed. You know what I mean? If you are going into the state capitol building, and these guys wasn't armed, but some of them were armed. You even seen some of it in some other videos where a lot of these guys were, they actually had firearms. And getting back to what your statement is that it's basically saying, hey, I'm armed. You know what I mean? I'm fighting for my constitutional right. It's a right to have, a gun. It's basically a statement to saying, hey, I'm keeping my government in place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Make sure everything is fair. The other, the thing about this insurrection we talk about, you know what I mean? with Donald Trump. He's more upset about losing, his not his Trump status, but his Facebook status, his Twitter status, his SD status, his eBay status. He's more pissed off at that than he is worried about, the insurrection. You know what I mean? And it just basically when you got cops that, obviously you got some cops that were injured. You know what I mean? You have a lot of people who were injured, and to even get this guy to put down the flag at half staff for the death of one police officer, it just goes to show you what type of guy this guy is. You know what I mean? It's a horrible feeling when you think about it, but then everybody know who Trump is. He told you who he was 4 years ago. Even before that, I'm from New York City. Trump is from New York, you know what I mean? One of the boroughs of Manhattan. So we already knew, what type of dude this guy was, even with the 5 guys that were accused of raping this lady in Central Park. He spoke very, aggressive against these 5 cats, these 5 guys. So that's just the type of guy Trump is, and the thing that bothers me is that the people that we saw out there are working class people. We saw, obviously check to check, poor people as well. And Trump is getting a lot of these people to do his dirty work, and that's worrisome to me. You know what I mean? Because you have people who die.
Right. So, So I think you're mixing the two together, which I think the Constitution gives you the right to, and like you put in your words, keep your government in order, keep your government in check. Right. What Trump is doing is trying to benefit from the revolution part of it, or them being able to storm the Capitol, or to do that. To me, that's the reason why. For you not to think that they've already had a Black Lives Matter protest out there, right, and already had 3 times the numbers of cops already stationed, to a now Trump supporting that doesn't have nothing but, a handful of cops on their off day getting a little extra chump change, overtime to do this stuff. You don't have none of the people there. To me, that was for a reason. And that's why they were able to overpower, take control of it. But again, there was no planning into that.
Well, they knew for so long, and it was also said that the state capitol, just in general, has over 3,000 police officers. On this particular day, there was only 500 police officers that actually worked that day on the 6th. So when you think about it, 3,000 police officers that are actually on the force, but only 500, under 500 or less than 500 was actually called in for today. I mean, that day when everything happened. It was also said that, and I overheard kind of, a report with Michael Moore was talking, that his source was basically saying that, the source was saying that it almost seemed like when you drove into the parking lot, it was like a Saturday. It was almost like a ghost town, even though you had a lot of the high-fluent senators in there, counting votes and, passing, laws, that have to do with votes. But it was almost like a ghost town. So it goes to tell you, and then you think about these people actually making it into the Capitol building, which is a building that is almost impossible to get into. They made it inside of the Capitol building and knew where everyone's offices were. They knew where Nancy Pelosi's office was. They knew about the underground tunnels within the Capitol that leads to all of the other buildings within on the campus. They knew all of that stuff. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you that, they just kind of, we walk in there, we figure this out? Or were they, were there some sort of tip? You know what I mean? And then you find out today in the news, just breaking news, that you find out that, 3 of the senators, has been involved with, helping out with this whole riot.
Well, I know they caught one of the senators that was in the crowd,
right,
with a mask on, was going on with the people in the crowd. They caught one of the senators doing that. So I know there was some faulty stuff to be played with it, but my real question of it is, like you said, why hire if every Monday through Friday you got 3,000 cops there, but then on this given day, when it's going to be a rally, you for all something think that this crowd's going to be okay, and you're going to have 500 people.
Right.
That's only the cops that can cop. Now imagine, even if that's all the cops you got on deck, if they got over 100,000 people out there ready to storm the building, if they truly wanted to handle it, it could go down in moments.
No doubt.
It wouldn't take long for 100,000 people to take one building down. Again, that was the reason for the Constitution, was to show you that the people still have the power. No matter how big your government gets, the people still get. To this day, we still got that power. If everybody in Washington, D.C. got mad, went down to that White House wouldn't last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how many people y'all go around it. I don't care how many National Guard y'all got. If they come in, it can get bad, and it could be gone in 10 minutes. Guaranteed.
You saying it could be a wrap?
State,
saying it could be a wrap?
Easily. Man, it would easily be that. But again, I'm not condoning or saying it, but the whole understanding of it is that is the power of the people. And that is the reason why your Constitution is very much not only is it important, but it's with the people that, like I said, my white brothers and sisters, that they truly understand and they back. And that's the reason why so much of your people, we don't understand the flag loving people, all about the patriots. If you understand the Constitution and what it gives you rights and who it gives you rights against, you can't use your Constitution against me. You the freedom to talk shit, but we both can talk shit to each other. You can't do nothing about it. Them was called laws, baby. Yeah, them was laws. But Constitution is for them.
No doubt, and as the Constitution is for them, you know what I mean. But let's go ahead and put it in perspective, like you said. You know what I mean. The BLM movement, it's a different type of ball game. So if you got the BLM movement down there to come protest, there's some people that would even get shot on sight just for getting across a barrier. You know what I mean? So the same type of strength and force that was used against the BLM protesters for just protesting peacefully, it should have been the same type of, backing that should have been for the same people that was there. But I know, these guys are there to take a lot of these people in custody, a lot of these, these leaders in custody, the Congress in custody. That's what they went in there for. But, the people came together for it. The crazy thing that got me is that, okay, so you remember the guy that had the bullhorn, right? I mean, not the bullhorn, but the horns on his head.
Right. Moose head.
Yeah, there was another guy in there, was a police officer that went in there and had the zip ties, right?
Right.
A lot of these guys, the crimes, they should have been charged with felonies, but the charges that they got were trespassing and destroying of public property, of private property. You know what I'm saying? Those are the charges that they got.
That's a misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor. How does a person get charged with a misdemeanor from disobeying every rule? Right. I don't understand that, man. How does that even happen?
Orchestration, right. Man.
My point exactly.
It has to be. There's no other way that you would get off with. If there wasn't something silly to that nature, and you're already committing crime, you're going to get more time than just they're going to try to give you the maximum time of everything they give you.
No doubt.
But if it's done on the other side of the fence, it's the most limited time they can give you. They're gonna give you the least they can give you, but on the other side of the fence, man, it's they're gonna hold you with a first degree burglary, Why? Because he moved it. We don't know if he was trying to steal it or not. Well, hold on. This book was carrying the podium. And all you get like trespassing. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things on there. That one dude removed the letter.
Yeah.
Now,
what happened to the terrorism charge?
From, doing is talking about. Well, see, all those don't seem to be none of those going to stick. It is in a sense like not a treason, but
yeah, that's what it is.
Well, yes, but what about? I think the word that the government or the people were never trying to use was like a terror
like domestic terrorists.
Yeah, domestic terrorists. That's the word I was looking for. Domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the more scared tactic on it to well it up. So now more of your freedoms get taken away from you, and that's the whole problem of the whole situation. I'm all for us standing our ground and being one people against the government, because when we realize our true enemy, and it ain't the next person who's living in the same predicament you live in, check, even if he is doing a little better or not, he's still being looked upon by the big brother, by the eye in the sky. You're all still being watched. So, there's no freedom if you still being scrutinized the same way I am, just because you got more money to go do. You can go travel to the Bahamas or something. Down, you still being watched. Until we're able to get rid of that type of thing, and that's where uniting the people could change the world. Really, we do have the power, but that's a person like that killed the Huey, guy from the Black Panthers. I can't think of his Huey Newton. I wanted to say Huey Lewis for some reason, but Huey Newton, the Pox, the people like that who thought to the mind of let's all unite.
That's what they fear, man.
That's the number one. That's the number one fear.
That crashes every agenda. You know what I mean?
Known to man. Yeah. Known to man. If we all go up there wanting the same, and it's going to end up happening because they're squeezing us in the box where they're making us fight for the bare necessities: air, water, food. No one give a damn if you got a nice car if you ain't got no garage to put it in. No one care about the nice clothes on your back if you ain't got no washing machine that you can take the washer and dry them at. So you know what I'm saying? So they're gonna push the pipes where everybody's gonna want to unite to get that same basic needs.
But the problem
and
is,
then that's when that problem.
The problem is that there's so much racism within that group that, you know what I mean? There's white supremacy, right? When you look at people within the video and you look at these things that they're showing, you got one guy with a shirt. Here it is. I'm wearing the shirt, still fighting to this day, right? But it's not a racist, insinuation, in no shape or form. It's basically telling you the struggles that our people face. And then we have been facing and we're still facing. But you got guys, you know what I mean, that is seen on video wearing the 600,000, shirts. And what that means is the 600,000 is basically, 600,000 isn't enough. What that shirt references is 600,000 Jews wasn't enough. You know what I mean? So
I actually think it's 6 million.
6 million. So I'm sorry. Yeah, 6 million. I'm sorry about that. 6 million Jews. Was it 6? I'll look at it and see what it, just to confirm. But when you got a number placed on there that's insinuating not enough deaths, you know what I mean, that you want more, that's a different mentality. So
right, that's hate.
That's hate. So you have that within, you know what I mean, within that group of people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that all those guys are some, a Trump supporter, that, they think the same way. You know what I mean? But obviously, when you're wearing a hate statement like that, your agenda is to, one, white supremacy, obviously, and there shouldn't be no other races in existence besides your race. That's the superior race. So, you know, I mean, just to be real, you know what I mean, with it, it's disturbing, it's disgusting, and you know, that's just, you know, the thing that we've been seeing, you know, ever since, you know, my forefathers, my ancestors have embarked on the land here, you know, of the United States. But you know, it is what it is what it is.
It's always going to be that way. I mean,
Yeah.
one, you know, you only you your fear makes you want to conquer, because that's the whole thing. That if you notice, most people who don't fear, who don't really have fear in them,
Right.
can actually get along with a bunch of people. It's only the fear ones who actually are the problem. They know they're not inferior, because you wouldn't if you were truly the superior race, you wouldn't have to ever flaunt it. You wouldn't even have to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers would know you are. It's not the superior, it's supremacist. You are the most the white supremacy. It's the most. It's that's what it is.
Right.
But it's because they have to make themselves believe that you are what you're not. Because if you were that, you wouldn't have to boast that. You wouldn't have to say that. You already know what your dominance will be when you walk the earth. People would know that.
Right. No doubt.
But most of the time, what it is fear and conquer. You conquer what it is you fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much how it is. Even with your little fears you got inside you, and you got to conquer them. You got to fight the fears. So
No doubt.
you got to do everything. So the same mentality, but it's the people.
No doubt. No doubt.
And so definitely, it's one of their flaws. Truly, it is one of their
No
flawed
doubt.
characters.
So, yo, family, let us know what your thoughts are on the topic. We're talking about the whole Trump protest. You know, let us know what your thoughts are on, you know, this whole protest. Do you think it was an inside job, or do you think it was just, you know, people rallying together and showing, you know, force? Let us know your topics. Hit that subscription button, drop your comment, make sure you hit that bell so you can follow, you know what I mean, all of the latest videos as we drop. So, yo,
Yeah.
I think you know, we kind of, you know, said what we needed to say about this whole Trump thing, but you know, like I said, man, it's been insane. The beginning of the year, it's been insane. You know, keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes open. You know, be on the lookout. You know, just act like you back in the hood and you walking through 40 projects. So you got to make sure that your eyes is open and that you staying alert, family. All right.
Use
Okay.
all your senses. Use
all your senses, no doubt.
Turn your senses on, man. Spidey sense better be in full effect, man.
Right. Yo, so T, let's talk about my man Curtis Blow, man. My man, aka Curtis Blow, aka Curtis Walker. You know what I'm saying? One of the illest rappers from back in the day. You know what I mean? 1979, my man, you know, Curtis Blow got his start. But you know, there's been some word that Curtis Blow had a heart transplant. However, the heart transplant has been a success. My man is out, you know what I mean, out and about. He's recovered, you know what I mean? So he's doing good. I'm happy to hear that, you know, as an iconic, you know, icon such as my man Curtis Blow. Y'all seen some of the illest joints of my man Curtis Blow. He's one of the illest, one of the, you know, I would say kind of the, you know, the ancestral type of, you know, hip hop artists that actually put Run DMC on the map. My man who else did my man put on the map? Fat Boys on the map.
I was going to say the Fat Boys, yeah.
Yep. Now you remember that jam, right? 8 million stories.
Yeah.
Yo, so Curtis Blow, my man, you know, sold over 400,000 albums. One of the first, you know, hip hop artists and lyricists that actually sold 400,000 albums, back in the days. And you know, from the type of person that Curtis Blow is, he was a guy that actually was just like a hip hop lyricist. I mean, you know, one of the old school hip hop artists. You know, with of course, you know, with the Jerry curls and everything. But you know, the attire was just, you know, crisp and clean with no caffeine. You know. Brother was clean cut, also with the shades, came up with some of the illest jams. You know, it's just insane to see my man, you know, back in the days do his thing. But I'm glad to hear that the heart transplant was a success. My man Curtis Blow is out, and I'm looking forward to hopefully, that he comes out with something, at least, some sort of press conference in the hip hop world, on a hip hop news set or the syndicate, to let us know, how's he doing, and some of the complications. A lot of times, a lot of these rappers, they usually have these complications, and then they come out, but then they start talking about what foods to eat, keeping yourself healthy, stay away from certain foods, because of the lifestyle change. You know what I mean? So I'll probably be looking for Curtis Blow to come out with something like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Curtis Blow, one thing that really I've always admired him is his voice. He had a great voice. He sounded good, nice,
Right.
tone to it. And that's why whenever he rapped, you could really catch on quickly. And although he came out in the era too where they were trying to rap to the beat a lot, so
Right.
bump, the bump, the bump, bump, the bump, the bump, the bump. So however they were doing it, they was more like trying to rap with the beat or in that situation. And so, but Curtis Blow, like basketball, that's one of my songs. Where Curtis, he just had a good imagination. I'm still kind of trying to wonder if that I'm playing basketball with no basketball was like a song for the brothers who were locked up, or if it was that broke that I'm out here hooping, but I ain't got no ball. I just visualizing it. So I've always really wanted to know from Curtis what was his really thought process behind that whole playing basketball without a basketball. But that was one of the cuts that came out when I was a younger guy, and so much respect. I'm glad to hear he's doing great out of the heart surgery. Wish him nothing but speedy recovery. Again, what you said was probably one of the biggest things as Black males as we get older. We got to understand our metabolism changes, and we have to adjust ourselves to the change. Because eating the same food is only gonna mess you up. Body don't process it like it used to process it.
Right.
So it's better, it's better for it's like you said, it's people. The quicker you catch on, the quicker you're able to make a better change. And people don't understand that what you eat affects everything in your body, how you sleep, how you breathe, how you walk, how you get up, how much energy you got. It's actually, the really, we think the heart is the life. So, and believe me, it's the motor that keep ticking. But what's in your gut, that's like the what I'm saying, the exhaust and all that, the build up in you. You gotta have all the oils, the fluids right up in here, man. If them ain't correct in there, you can kaboot your stuff as quick as your heart can go bad on you. So definitely make sure people eat correctly. That's probably one of the biggest things. I hope that Curtis Blow, if that was a situation, I'm not sure what the heart transplant was for. It could have been fried foods, it could have been he had a oversized or heart. So I'm not sure what it was, the reason why. But I wish him the best, and I do hope my man, if he hasn't already taken on um, veggie or vegan diet or plant based, that he looks into it.
Yeah, no doubt. He's still young, man. 69 years old. He's just an ill. Like you said, the basketball MC, we call him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
that was
that
was his blow, man. That was his gut, man. That was that one. That was that one right there, boy. That was around the world. Everybody was on that playing basketball without a basketball. I was too young to understand the reason of questioning, but I remember hearing it, and it was a catchy thing. I love the way people were up and down the court, and then how he used to get going. So Curtis Blow, like I said, I always liked his voice. A father MC to a lot of these guys out here who really like I said, open the door to being probably one of the most first commercial artists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Someone who actually went really mainstream, and we're looking at like early 80s, 83, 82, in that era, because after before the underground, I mean, underground was still always there, but he was commercial. My man was commercial. he had some things going on. People knew Curtis Blow.
People knew Curtis Blow. I mean, you know, he's a legend in hip hop. Like in 1979, he became like the first, let's see, signed. He was one of the first rappers that signed a major record deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so he kind of opened the doors, you know what I mean, for rappers like the Fat Boys and Run DMC. Of course, you know, later Run DMC went on to Profile Records with, or Def Jam Records, excuse me. Profile Records. I think Russell Simmons, you know, was ahead of that.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, he came up with some of the Christmas raps as well. He also recently became like the founder of the Hip Hop Museum,
Nice.
the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which opened their doors. You know, obviously they're set to open their doors in 2023. So a couple of years from now, you know, Curtis Blow, obviously he'd probably be, you know, 63, 64 years old. He'll be one of the founders of the museum. So, you know what I mean? Big shout out to my man, Curtis Blow.
It's going to be amazing to see that museum.
Oh, yeah.
The discography of that, to show how we actually went from how we were starting things off with ADAT and all that basic until we went on to the different styles. So you got tape deck to the CD,
right?
To all the way to now you get it where it's just online, you're streaming it. I mean, just to see the discography of how long that goes and how music's changed through that time frame.
Right.
That's gonna be amazing to see that, and to see, because you know hip hop wasn't given but a 10-year lifespan.
Yeah.
You know, it's the illegitimate child that came through, and now the world adores. You know what I'm saying? It's the half brother that you never get to see, that your dad had inside, and that the mom drop off every other weekend. You don't even want to deal with this brother, man. You don't call him brother or sister, and that y'all ain't really let it do. But all of a sudden, he grew up to be the biggest one in the group, and just
no doubt, yeah,
it's amazing.
So I guess with this new museum that's coming out, it's supposed to have like the latest technology. So you'll be able to see, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to see, within this museum. You remember that whole Tupac hologram?
Yeah, the hologram, yeah.
They're doing holograms in this new museum. So you'll be able to see, like, it's almost like going to a concert. When you want to pull up one of these rappers, you can pull up the rapper and they'll show you the performances in like a hologram type setting.
That's nice.
So it's supposed to be like the state-of-the-art type of museum, and I'm glad. It's actually pretty exciting. I think I'll probably be there as well. Maybe the Culture Crew. Maybe we'll make a Culture Crew trip. You know what I'm saying? Out to the spot as soon as it opens up, because you know we got to represent the old school hip hop. That's what we represent. So it's only right to be be in the building when it opens up. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. Shout out to my man Curtis Blow. Get well. I know that he went into the hospital, last year, and then came out, but then had to go back in. He got rushed back in. He collapsed in front of two police officers that rushed him to the hospital. They said if he didn't collapse in front of two police officers that actually had the emergency, connection to call in for people, for the ambulance to come, get Curtis Blow, rush him to the hospital. They said he could have died.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to the police officers as well. And shout out to my man Curtis Blow. We look for you, brother. We can't wait to see you, back on the set. Even, when this whole museum comes out, we'll love to see you. He's living in Los Angeles, these days. He's living in LA. So I think a lot of people end up in LA, man. LA is the spot, I guess.
I think it's that weather, man.
Probably so.
That weather, and everything's lazier on this side of the water,
Right.
Everything in New York area is cramped on top of one another. You know what I'm saying? You got like even home. I think it's just more people versus just being in a bigger city, because everything's built
spread out. Right.
Versus being, unless you get up to upstate New York where the money or all that. But when you in like New York, it's like
you got the boroughs. You got the boroughs. You can only go from borough to borough, unless you start, going out east up to Long Island, out into the boonies. I think even the boonies is kind of getting filled up. So, it's just one of those places, man. Everybody go, whether it be for work, whether it be for, what have you. So, yeah. But, yeah, shout out to my man Curtis Blow. We can't wait to see you, boy. We love you. Shout out to the Curtis Blow family. Prayers up for the recovery of my man. All right, so, let's talk about my boy, Dr. Dre. All right? Now, this whole Dr. Dre thing, we know last week, Dr. Dre got rushed to the hospital, for an injury of an aneurysm.
Right.
He's got admitted to ICU. I hear right now he's still in ICU. The doctors are doing an investigation and working hard. Shout out to the doctors at Cedar Mount Sinai Hospital that's been, taking care of Dr. Dre. I don't think Dr. Dre is actually sending out those tweets. I think it's probably one of his, obviously, his assistants that's sending out the tweets. But there was a tweet that was posted that he's doing well. He appreciate all of the love that he's getting, from family and friends, and that he'll be out real soon. Now, we all know that Dr. Dre, obviously has been having some issues with this whole divorce thing with his wife. They're trying to, speculate, or there's been some speculation, behind the whole aneurysm and pressure and things like that behind it could possibly spark some sort of, injury that could do with the aneurysm. We don't know. That's just an alleged, report. But we do know with this whole divorce with his wife, while he was on or in ICU, she was basically hard pressed to ask Dr. Dre to sign some paperwork for this $2 million a month deal. Now, this is not final. I think what's going on is that while this goes through the court process, she's asking for money, and, rightfully so. Obviously he's got kids and things like that. You got to take care of the family. But when you got an aneurysm and you still in ICU, why don't we take care of that issue first and then look at possibly working something out? You know what I mean? After. But she went straight in the ICU and was like, I need you to sign these papers. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. What's your thought on that, T? You think it's crazy? You think she was being sincere? You think she was, just being herself?
Well, okay, so if it really went down that way, where she walked in there and, kind of served him the papers.
Well, not served him like that, but probably would have like,
But now, to me, okay, at the level he's at right now, I can tell you right now, he didn't sign.
Why you say that, D?
Because when you go through a surgery like, I can see, I just had a colonoscopy, and they tell you while you're under anesthesia, or once you just get off of that, you're not allowed to sign paperwork for 24 hours. You're not allowed to drive a car, not do that stuff. Well, he's in there for a brain aneurysm. So you don't know, you're not even in your right mind because you're in a brain aneurysm. So they can't force you to sign that right now. What he did was probably give consent for her to actually get a certain amount of money for a certain time period until he's able to recover. Because you signing that paperwork under there is detrimental to your whole career, everything that you just built in. Because again, you really don't know. And that's why I say I know from what the doctors tell you, they don't allow you to, they say, hey, no paperwork. You can't sign it because he's not in his right full mind. And then he had a brain aneurysm. So to me, I think he may have gave consent for her to have some money. Now, my question is that what lifestyle a day is you living where you need $2 million more than once? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you got that type of, overhead.
I got that type of overhead. We are going through a divorce. You got what you came in with. You know what I'm saying? I Dre beats. It didn't say Dre and my wife beats. Now I don't mind you being there, and I give you. Like, see, this is how, for instance, if we built this empire together, and I mean, if we build it to the point where we went in this business together and built this up here, and we put everything in it and did this, you're entitled to everything I am.
Right.
If I'm Dr. Dre, the rapper, and we just get married and hook up, and then you have a baby by me, you ain't made one beat, you ain't listened to one hi-hat, you ain't came in, gave nobody approval, you ain't spent countless nights counting the. That's where I have a problem with getting my funds for that. Almost like Jordan. You're not getting the Jordan brand. You can take the home, take everything else, but what I have established as is Jordan, you didn't shoot one basket,
Hey,
you
yo,
ain't laced up one Nike.
T. Jordan lost a lot of money, man, on his first divorce, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But she didn't get the Jordan brand.
Right. He kept the Jordan name
Now,
and
now, now, now he back to $1 billion. He lost a lot of money, but he didn't lose $1 billion. So I'm saying, so
I
if
got
most
you.
of
I
the
feel you.
important part of it, if I establish my name, like for instance, Kim Kardashian and Kanye going through their little problems. Well, if they divorce, well, I look at it this way. I hope there's a prenup signed because he ain't entitled to nothing that the Kardashians has put together.
Right.
You
Right.
you shouldn't have no entitlement for that. And in the same breath, you don't get none of that Kanze Yeezy money that he put the shoes in, unless he took that money that Kim gave him
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and did some investment. Well, now you need to talk. Now that's a different. But if you build your empire alone, man or female, you have your empire. That's your empire. That person didn't put no blood, sweat, and tears into your empire. Now you know that person did if she didn't. Now, if she did, you need to break her off correctly. Give her respect and due. But if
Right.
she didn't, man, just because we had sex together and we had kids together, didn't mean you had nothing to do with my empire that I created.
Yeah,
And
I didn't
that's
see her.
where
I didn't see her back in the day when Dr. Dre was
ain't
doing
she
his
a
whole thing.
model? I thought she was a model or something that he found. I thought she was an
Yeah,
ex-model or something. Well, she
something
probably was
like
a
that.
young up and coming thing. You ain't even had a
Right.
career yet. Your probably career didn't even take off yet. He just saw a pretty face and got on. I don't know. I really don't know much about her.
No doubt.
But the lifestyle that you're trying to live at 2 million, I think, a month or something.
Right.
Like her cell phone bill was like 909. It was like ridiculous. She even had a wardrobe um, built in that $2 million thing because they had like a $2 million breakdown of what she was using the money for. Because the money she's getting now, she already asked for this money a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think now he just gave it to her, gave her the consent because he was going through an aneurysm. He can't really be there to give you a break off and shut your mouth here. Take this 100,000, shut up. Now she here. I'm not gonna be dealing with this. Here's 2 million. I'll see in a minute.
Right. Right.
But that's me personally. But I know it also had like I said, a breakdown of what she needed all the money for, and like she had a clothing to spend in there. I'm like, look, we are in a pandemic. How are you even able to go out to go shopping? You
Hey,
don't
yo,
need that right now.
yeah, you need Chanel and you need, you know what I'm saying? You need the Givenchy, you need all that stuff, man, while you're in the pandemic.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
well, because you want to dress up for your walls. I understand.
right, no doubt.
Yeah, and even if you are going out and doing some things like that, my whole point of it is that stuff is going to be there. It's a pandemic. Ain't nobody rushing in line to get it, so it's still going to be there.
No doubt. Right.
So for them to, for her to, my whole point is for her to have that type of expense on there is foolish. Even if you just had a reasonable 50,000, go buy you some shoes and a purse. You are living in the pandemic. You need some money. Like I think it was like $200,000 or $150,000 wardrobe fee. There was like $100 something thousand, $90,000 I think for the cell phone.
Right.
It had a breakdown of everything that she was spending this money on. It went to like 1,999,000 something. So it just right under two.
Right. Got you.
But
That's crazy, man.
who now? The break in is the real question we were really supposed to be talking about. The
Right.
break in.
Yo, while he
Now,
was in the hospital, they broke into his crib.
so that tells me that it's somebody you know.
No doubt, yeah.
90% of those break-ins are like that. Somebody you know. Somebody know that's close to you that ain't doing as well as you are, Dre. That know where you keep your little couple your nest eggs at. Ran through your crib and got you for some stuff.
Yeah, but what's so crazy about that, man? I think, even with P. Diddy's house, well, not P. Diddy's house, P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend's house.
Right.
Obviously, rest in peace to her. She, died last year, I believe, or the year before last. But that house has been vacant, and that house also was broken into. So, I mean, what is it, man? People, is it a business? You know what I mean? Like people got, they create these businesses, man, to break into, I don't know, celebrities' houses because they think they're gonna get a big score. But even P Diddy's ex-girlfriend's house got broken into.
Yeah, but you can't get a score like that because everything is connected. So if you go in there
Mhm.
and you try to steal somebody's award, for instance, P Diddy's award that's sitting on our mantle, and you go try to sell it, that's not gonna get you too far. They're gonna be able to watch the videotape where you walked in, see who walked in, and you're gonna get caught. So there's really not a true money maker in letting someone know what you did. What you could have done now, the issue I have with P Diddy situation is that if you have the money to have all these homes, then you need to have the responsibility to have them all surveillanced or secured in that situation. She's been passed away for over a year now, almost, I mean, close to two maybe now.
Yeah, I think about 2 years. Yeah.
So, with that being said, you should already had that expunged, taken away, put down, or let some people not where it's not vacant, where it's not where people's living there.
Right.
Give it to one of
Right.
the kids, somebody to live up in there, so it's not being vacant. But if you just have a to be open, I mean, a unused home that she hasn't been over 2 years, I mean, that's kind of hard to say that that's someone you know. That could be somebody who's been living in the neighborhood who's been by this house for 2 years and saying, ain't nobody cut the grass, did nothing to
Yeah,
do.
it was
Ain't,
looking kind of crazy. Yeah,
it's
it
looking
was.
kind of untamed right now.
Hmm.
Or they can break in the back door and go and get him in there. So it's hard to carve that one out more than it
Right.
is Dre. Dre situation. Somebody knew, homie, and that was one of your fellow brethren who do that one. They
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So, family, let us know what you think about this whole. First, let us know about this whole Curtis Blow thing. Let us know about the museum. Let us know how you feel about that. Is that the museum? Do you think it's going to be an ill museum with the the holographics and all that stuff? And thirdly, let us know about this whole Dr. Dre thing. Do you think it's how his aneurysm happened? Was it something that was natural, or do you think it was kind of incited from all of the pressure of going through this divorce? Obviously, when you're dealing with a lot of money,
Yeah.
and you got to cut somebody off, you got to cut somebody a little shaving of that, or even half in some cases, that could kind of spark, some issues internally. So let us know your comments on that. Drop a comment. Let us know on this whole P. Diddy thing, what your feelings are. Do you think it's a business with people going into people's houses and seeing what they can recover? It's just been ill to see, a lot of these people's houses getting broken into. Let us know your thoughts on that. Drop a comment, you know what I mean? And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell, you know what I mean, to let us know or let you know when there's a new video that's dropping. All right, family? So, T, you want to give a shout out to anybody while we wrap it up out here?
Just really wanted to say much love and respect to the Culture Crew family.
No doubt.
Look for everybody to be out there the Agenda 2021. Hope you all make it out there, enjoy that. Also, I'm really fascinated about this museum. I think that's probably one of the greatest ideas I've heard in a while, just because of the history of hip hop and if it really lives up to expectations and more,
Right.
that is actually probably a stellar idea, really. Just to have the history of, and even if you have not only genres but battle, like people who use the battle MCs and kind of show how what the segment was, to even a break dance, and I'm hoping it's that expanded into hip hop where you're going into genres like that where it shows the graffiti, the guys
Right.
doing
The
all that
history.
stuff, the
Right.
history of this whole beautiful art that we've had, and how it's evolved to certain things. Our hip hop from graffiti to breakdancing to rapping to how things evolve through the whole segment.
Beat Street, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you know what I mean? The movie Beat Street. You
Right,
got Breaking One, Breaking Two. You got all where it
right.
all kind of hit the screen. Crush Groove, where was
Crush
also
Groove.
was
Yes.
ill on the movie screen. There was an article that was posted. With this whole Curtis Blow being one of the founders, obviously. posted. I'll read a little article of it. It said most recently, Walker became the co-founder of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. So this museum is going to be in New York City.
Okay.
Which obviously hip hop started on the
Originates.
East Coast. It says most recently Walker became the co-founder of the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is set to open their doors in 2023. They were recently awarded $3.5 million grant from the state of New York to support the project. So, shout out to New York City. Our mission is to use the technology today to tell the story of the history of hip hop. He previously told PX11 News, that's the news channel 11 that's out there in New York City. We're talking about avatars. They're talking about holograms, virtual reality, and other things that is interacting with kids. So this is pretty big. This museum, $3.5 million, to open up this museum is set to open up 2023. Holograms, avatars. So
that's not gonna be enough, but
right.
That's a great start. For what you try to do that technology, you're gonna need a little bit more. But that's a great start. And if the museum is going to get a lot of visitors outside of the hip hop culture, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about. I actually think about with the hip hop museum, especially being as state of the art that it sounds like it's going to be.
No doubt.
A lot of people don't go to the Country Hall of Fame unless you are a country like you like country music.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame unless you like rock and roll type of music. A lot of people gonna go to the hip hop, even if they like the music or not, just because of the culture itself.
Right.
The culture, like the music, the word rapping itself and hip hop music is not the culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's a segue in the culture. That's a part of the culture.
Right.
But like I said, there's graffiti, there's breakdancing, there's rapping, there's trapping, there's different type of things there's
dressing.
All of this that goes on. That hip hop is a lifestyle, a culture. So that's why I say this is going to be a fascinating museum to really understand. And I think people outside of the hip hop genre are going to still want to check it out, because it's not per se just the words of saying somebody rapping on a microphone. It's the style, the walk, the carry, the everyday living, the struggles, the ups and downs. And then, like I said, there's also variations like graffiti, breakdancing. There's other things that's all a part. When you say hip hop is this big old ball, and inside of it, it got a whole bunch of other stuff that's entangled into it. But that's all that part of the hip hop. So that's why I say, to me, I think it's going to be a fascinating museum, and even just the thought itself to have something that grand that can show so many avenues of what's going on, or how of this hip hop thing that we love. Even like I said, the dressing, from different gears they used to wear, and that's all going to be a different segment or a room. I'm hoping that in my mind, but departments that they can actually have in this thing, where people can go and they go look at the clothing. Now it's all, this whole room is dedicated to the clothing, so you can go from when rap came out, when the early African Bambaataa days, to everybody who was dressing, till we got to the the polos and the Kanye days, and then all the way up to when we run all through it.
Right. No
but
doubt.
But it's a room dedicated to that. Then there's a room dedicated to graffiti, breakdancing, everyday lifestyle, what these guys were going through from waking up.
Yeah, no doubt. It's not just, you know what I mean? Just like my man KRS-One said, you have to be hip hop. You are hip hop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not just, rapping. You have to actually live, a lot of this, especially a lot of the lyrics these rappers tell, storytelling, or whether it's just the experiences that they've experienced. That's true. When you're able to convey that into rhymes, you know what I mean? That's true hip hop. You know what I mean? It's true. That's part of true hip hop, the culture of hip hop. So, Yeah, shout out to my man. And I definitely can't wait. This is also shout out to my man Governor Cuomo. I don't know, a lot of people don't like Governor Cuomo in New York City, but
That's a
you know what I
nice
mean?
fine. That's a nice fine right there.
Right. I mean,
To give that money over to the them 3.5. That's
right.
that's a nice starter.
It's a nice starter, you know what I mean? $3.5 million in capital grant. It also says, besides the grant, which is New York City, Andrew Cuomo announced on Thursday, December 19th, LL Cool J, Nas, Microsoft, MIT will support the project. So you got universities that's, and Microsoft, big corporations that's supporting the project. He said the outlet also reports the city has generated $6.5 million toward the museum. Our mission is to use the technology today to tell the story of the hip hop museum. Co-founder Curtis Blow, he's talking about, obviously the avatars, the virtual reality. 11 pioneer hip hop acts whose contributions to the culture demand respect. The museum will host interactive exhibits. This is probably what you were talking about too, T. The museum will host interactive exhibits where attendees can DJ, record their own music, and make graffiti art. Last year, Public Enemy founder Chuck D, he's also, one of the founders, or Public Enemy founder Chuck D, was named as chairman of the celebrity board of the museum. The credibility he brings to the team is a mammoth. Curtis Blow had said in the Time press release, he also understands that the importance of the UHHM and vows to let the world know via star-studded celebrity board in the near future. Flame on. The Universal Hip Hop Museum is expected to stimulate tourism and tax revenue for the borough. So
Yeah,
that's pretty big.
That's going to bring in, and as you literally just said, 3.5 or 6.5 equals 10 mil.
And not only that, the project will bring in a cost of $80 million in total, of expected to occupy 50,000 square foot in the Bronx Point. This develops official groundbreaking will take place next summer.
So the only thing they're going to have to really worry about that, the true thing they're going to have to really worry about that is you're going to need substantial parking, or make it where people can get off the train and walk there to it. But the only thing about that is that you're in New York.
You get transportation anywhere, whether it be a train that connects, or you know what I mean.
Right.
So if this is going to be a tourist spot, because New York is big about tourism, right? So if this is going to be a tourist spot, because a lot of people from hip hop is around the world. We know that. We see a lot of the artists in London. We see a lot of them, in China. We see a lot of them. It's worldwide. Hip hop is worldwide. So to have people that come, while they're here in New York, to go to a spot. I mean, you can go see the Bronx Bombers play, right? New York Yankees.
Right. Yeah.
Stop off over here, or even at the hip hop, museum, to catch some of the sights. So it's definitely a magnet that gravitates, a lot of people from all walks of life to not only learn about hip hop, learn about the culture, learn about some of the artists, but you could be involved in some of the interactive exhibits. You know what I mean? So
what are people going to want to do?
Exactly. Yeah. So shout out to Governor Cuomo. Shout out to my man Curtis Blow. Shout out to all the, Nas and those people that's actually involved, Public Enemy, some of the co-founders out there. Shout out to y'all. Yo, this is big. This is epic. Definitely, Coach, you got to represent as soon as this thing opens, to represent the hip hop. No doubt.
That's like a great place to actually go. Just to give your kids some history understanding. That's probably a phenomenal move. Really, that's really truly it is. So I was, like I said, I was really excited for that one. But other than that, my man, I know we go past the time. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves, had a great New Year, safe New Year. Looking forward to seeing you in 2021 up here, on this Agenda 2021 show.
Yes, what's up?
And, again, showing the world what we got to bring.
No doubt. All right, family, that's it for us. Remember, Agenda 2021 show, be there, be square. I don't care how you get there, just be there. All right.
No doubt.
One love, one culture, and we out, family. Peace out.
Hey, turn that shit up, man.
Bias.
believe it or not, nigga, Ripley. By the bus through, nigga, BB. She suckin'